welcome to my kitchen for another edition of Science at Home. During quarantine, you might be looking for some ways to keep yourself active in your brain. And so today we're going to do a little bit of fun science with milk, food coloring, and soap. So the materials that you need is some kind of liquid dish soap. Dawn works really well. It stays nice and thick to use. I have some different food colors here. I have both neon and regular colors. And then I have some milk, and it does work best with a higher fat milk, like whole milk. I didn't have any, so we're going with a mixture of half and half and 1%, and we'll see what happens. And then the last thing that you'll need are some cotton swabs that are gonna help us be able to use the soap in the milk. So today the chemistry that we're exploring is going to look at the properties of some of the components in the milk, and we're going to see how the fats in the milk respond to the soap molecules. The purpose of the food coloring is to help us observe those characteristics once we mix the soap with the fat. So we're going to do the experiment first, and then we'll talk a little bit about why we see what we see. So I am going to fill the plate with some milk. We want to make a nice layer where there's enough milk that there's some thickness to it, but that we don't have too much that we make a mess. So on my dinner plate, that was about 3/4 of a cup. It was just a nice part to pour from. Next, we're going to place some drops of food coloring somewhat close to the middle and fairly close to each other. I thought I would try some of the neon ones. We'll kind of see how that goes. Other green over here between these. Two blues together, oh well. All right, so we have several drops of food coloring that are close together, and we're gonna do a little bit of a control test. We're gonna do it first without the soap in it to see if anything happens. So if I stick the cotton swab in the middle, you'll see not a whole lot going on. Very little movement from the colors. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of the soap and kind of just get the top of the swab in it. And we're going to put that right in the middle and see what happens. So we get some definite movement. We saw everything kind of shift around to start. Let's put it back in there again. So we see some moving again, definite response from the food coloring. We see some movement there. So what's happening here is as we interact the soap with the milk, one of the properties of soap that makes it such a good cleaner is that part of the molecule will interact well with fats, while the other part interacts well with water molecules. Normally, water and fats don't mix well together because water is a polar molecule and fats are non-polar. So what happens is the soap has this special property where, because one end of it has that non-polar end, that grabs onto those fats and gets it off your dishes. But then the polar end allows it to be grabbed by water, and that will allow those fats to be washed away. So what's happening here in the milk is that the fats in the milk are interacting with the fatty ends of the soap, and they're moving around and kind of coagulating together and kind of jumping together. The water parts of the molecules can then kind of mix together. So what we're seeing here is that the different parts of the molecules are grouping up and kind of moving around. So we will continue to see movement when I put the soap with the milk until kind of all the fat molecules have joined together with soap molecules. That is why higher fat milks will get more movement, because there's more fat molecules to go around. So you'll notice there's even like a little bit of wiggling within the liquid after I pull this away. So it's kind of fun. You can keep doing it and keep seeing how many times you can get the fat molecules to move around until you can't get it to move anymore. You could also experiment with trying different types of milk, seeing, like I said, if you get different movements. You could try different colors to get a little bit more artwork. It's kind of fun to see what patterns you can create. So again, today's kitchen chemistry, looking a little bit at polarity, polar and nonpolar molecules, and how those soaps interact with the fats and the other materials in the milk. Hope you have fun going and trying this on your own. Make sure you clean up and stay clean as you're working within your own kitchen.